thank you all for your patience. Thank you all for your patience.
Oh, you missed it.
Now directed to 549th meeting of the Board of Trustees comes to order. I said everyone rise to salute the flag.
Pass somebody. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Donnelly, please call the roll for attendance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mary Adams.
Present.
Anthony Carnaccio.
Present.
John Durso.
Here.
Jorge Guardia.
Present.
Richard Gutierrez.
Present.
Jeffrey Prime.
Present.
And Farouk Amin.
Yeah.
And I am here, Mr. Chairman. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Mr. Donnelly.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
before we go forward, may I make an announcement?
Yes, please.
Tomorrow is Mary Adams' 16th birthday. We should all give her a round of applause.
So all meeting at Chuck E. Cheese. For the approval of the April 30th minutes.
I make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
I'm sorry, the motion is still on table, Mr. Derrickson?
Untable the minutes of April 30th, 2012.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. The minutes of the meeting of April 30th are now before us. And, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion...
because I wasn't here.
You weren't here. Okay. All right. And the motion is carried.
Thank you, Mr. Derrickson.
All right. Mr. Chairman, the Finance and Capital Committee met. And
I'm sorry, Mr. Derrickson, there's a motion on the May 31st minutes?
I'm sorry, yes. Motion, please, for approval of the minutes.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? So moved. Thank you, Mr.
Pardon my enthusiasm for jumping ahead. Well, we had a Finance and Capital Committee meeting, and it was obviously a very, very good meeting, and we'll go forward with that in a minute. But I'd like to take the opportunity, sir, to also, one, we have no travel requests, and two, I'd like to make a motion to untable item B relating to an expenditure that was considered by the Board of Trustees during the meeting of May 31st of 2012.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now, item B is untabled. And item B is a request in the amount of $45,000 as requested by the General Counsel for Efficient Development Strategies. And those services provided consist of assisting in advocacy efforts on the state and local levels on behalf of Nassau Community College.
I make a motion to approve item B.
I second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Any abstentions?
So moved.
And back to our expenditures, we have 3 items, all of which have been recommended by the committee for approval, and we put that to the Board of Trustees for approval, items A, B, and C. Okay. Well, if I get a motion on that?
So moved.
Okay. Oh, and there's one other. I do apologize. You know, with all this stuff, yeah, I make a mistake. Yeah, no, there will be a date, and we have to, under Article 4, Section 3F of the Board Rules of Procedure, to allow consideration of an item that does not appear on the calendar between the address.
I second that motion.
Okay, all in favor of that?
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Okay. So the additional item is in the amount of $250,000 as requested by Vice President Muscarella with regard to the replacement of the flooring in the physical education building, weight room, and dance studios due to flooding and damage that was done. It has to be done immediately, and we ask for a vote on that. Okay, so we need a motion to accept that.
Move.
All in favor? Any opposed? There are none? Okay. And then we did, and please correct me, Mr. Chairman, I believe we had put a motion through on A, B, and C.
We did.
But if not, we did, correct? Okay, good. So that concludes my report for the Finance and Capital Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, for the personnel and affirmative action and labor, I make a motion under Article 4, Section 3F of the Board of Rules Procedures to allow for the consideration of an item that does not appear on the calendar.
I second the motion.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Abstain? The motion carries. The motion that we are representing to you now is, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the President of the College and the Chair of the Board of Trustees to execute the attached agreement and general release to cause the implementation of the terms set forth therein. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees accepts the irrevocable letter of resignation of the employee who is the subject of said agreement, subject to receipt by counsel to the College of a letter of resignation. All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Abstain? The motion passes.
Mr. Prime, I'll expect that the copy of the agreement will be attached to the draft minutes and permanent minutes as required by the law. If
Understood.
there's an expenditure involved, then it must be mentioned in the agreement. If we're not mentioning the resolution, that's fine. I understand it's mentioned in the agreement.
Understood, Mr. Camacho.
Chairman Prime, I'm going to make a motion under Article 4, Section 3 of the Board's Rules of Procedure to allow for the consideration of an item that does not appear on the calendar.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
After careful review of all the information submitted to the Board for review and consideration on this matter, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Nassau Community College does hereby direct the college administration to restore the reassigned time to the Academic Senate Executive Committee to 48 hours for the 2012-2013 academic year, with the recommendation that an appropriate amount of release time be designated to the chair of the college-wide curriculum committee. All in favor?
We gotta make,
Right.
someone has to make the vote.
He made the motion.
Okay, all those in favor, I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstention? So moved.
Motion carries.
Mr. President, your report.
Mr. Prime, did we make clear in the resolution how this to be allocated?
No.
The allocation?
No, it's a recommendation as to how it's just a recommendation as to be reassigned
This time to include the academic chair.
The recommendation.
It's my understanding that it will be the Senate itself that's going to make the allocation.
The board is not going to take any part in how the Senate determines. We make a recommendation, but we're not going to take any part in any way trying to tell the Senate how to run their business.
But that is the resolution that will be determined by the Senate, right?
Oh, yes, correct. Correct, I apologize.
I don't think you
Okay.
said that. I would just ask that you put up a slight amendment that the allocation of the 48 hours is to be determined by the Senate itself.
College-wide curriculum committee.
With a recommendation that an appropriate amount of release time be designated to the chair of the college-wide curriculum committee.
That was our
And
understanding.
such allocation be made by the Senate itself.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah. Did you say that?
I did not say that.
Actually, I think that's going to be part of the resolution. Otherwise, the administration may think it can do it, or they may come back to us to do it. We're leaving it to them, aren't we not?
Yes.
Then I guess we have to bring it to a revote, because that's not what we
I think
voted.
the resolution is satisfactory, quite frankly. It gives the academic senate the opportunity to decide how many hours they want to give to the curriculum chair.
But it doesn't say that. It says what it's going to be and what our recommendation, what should happen, but we don't say it's going to be them who's going to make the decision, it's the allocation of the hours. Which is the sense of the board, I thought.
The recommendation, the resolution was read, moved, and carried. So I guess at this stage,
Well, that's our intent is to...
All right, well, let's just take a second to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Okay.
for purpose.
All right, hold
Back to
on.
order. For purposes of clarification, I will entertain a motion to reopen the resolution regarding the reassigned time.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Nassau Community College does hereby direct the college administration to restore the reassigned time for the Academic Senate Executive Committee to 48 hours for the 2012-2013 academic year, with the recommendation that an appropriate amount of release time be designated to the chair of the college-wide curriculum committee as determined by the Academic Senate. Do I have a second?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Remove.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, Mr. President, for your patience. Your report, please.
All right, thank you, and I want to thank the board for the time you put on this. I know you were in executive session, the administration was out of there, and I commend you for your time, effort, and diligence on this, and
One meeting, guys, one meeting, please.
look forward to moving forward. Mary, just want to offer you a happy birthday tomorrow on behalf of us once again. And 16 years old is a wonderful time, so enjoy it.
I thank you very much, Mr. President.
Just want to mention two things quick. It's late, we've got a long evening. First, on Thursday, there's a job and work fair put on by Minority Leader Kevon Abrahams, and it will be in the CCB starting at 10 o'clock, goes till about 3. They're also using some of the other rooms. I think they're in the multi-purpose room and a couple of rooms upstairs as well. So that's for this Thursday. And just want to mention that as we will not be meeting in July, the College Foundation has its annual golf tournament on July 30th. And notifications are out. It's up on the website, and look forward to seeing many people out at that event. So. With that, I'll close for tonight and pass it to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your report. Mr. Donnelly, you really keeping time? Thank you. We will now open it up to the speakers list. I'll just remind everybody that their time is limited to 3 minutes. And Kimberly Riser.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr.
Are you dressed in black because you expected dead news?
I had 2 sets of comments prepared, and now I have an alternate set. In any event, have you started counting?
No, Larry.
Okay, good.
But he has.
Time.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, although we appreciate your move towards endorsing partial restoration of reassigned time tonight, recommending 6 less hours for the Academic Senate Executive Committee is simply not enough. I ask you to consider what the cost will be to Nassau Community College if you do not fully support shared governance, for that is what has happened tonight. The administration cutting any amount of reassigned time for the Academic Senate Executive Committee and the College-wide Curriculum Committee chair is a direct and deliberate affront to democratic decision-making on our campus. For the administration to claim otherwise is insulting. It's insulting to every faculty member, every staff member, every student, and every trustee sitting in this room, and the administration knows it. At the heart of shared governance is collegiality. In fact, Middle State Standard 4 calls for a climate of shared collegial governance. Collegiality is not congeniality. It is not about moving in lockstep and always agreeing. It's based upon open exchange of ideas and genuine deliberation. It allows us to be the best we can and to move forward. Let me explain what we're talking about. 1/100th of 1% of a multi-million-dollar budget, which is in essence 6 3-credit courses taught by 4 faculty members. It would be like asking 4 administrators, 4 deans, 4 vice presidents to do all their work and somehow squeeze in another course to teach. So tonight, by not allowing the 6 hours, 2 executive committee members will have to find the time to squeeze in somehow another course. I do not know how that will occur. I have to say that we believe the move by the administration, and I'm talking about the move by the administration, not by the trustees. We embrace what the trustees did tonight. But this move by the administration, we believe, is an act of punishment. It's an act of punishing us for speaking out about ill-informed and arbitrary administration acts. Be assured, the faculty will persevere. We will continue to exercise our rights protected in the U.S. Constitution and the contract. We will not be silenced. We will not be afraid. And we will not be complicit in any act that the faculty feel is counter to academic standards and integrity. And thank you for your bold move tonight, trustees, by granting us partial restoration of the reassigned time.
Paula Carlo.
Mr. Chair and members of the board, my name is Paula Carlo. I have been a full-time faculty member at NCC for 17 years and am currently a professor in the Department of History, Political Science, and Geography. This is the first time that I am addressing the BOT about my concerns over the direction of this college under the leadership of Dr. Astrap. I have no personal animosity toward Dr. Astrap, and I have found him to be very personable. But that doesn't mean that his vision of higher education is in accord with the NCC mission statement and with the vision of the overwhelming majority of faculty members at NCC. When Dr. Astrap first arrived at NCC, he had the full support of the faculty. But due to numerous actions, that support has been eroded, and I believe that faculty opposition to his leadership has increased since the no-confidence votes last year. My comments will be focused on Dr. Astrap's remarks about class size in the April 11, 2012 edition of the Vignette. The article was entitled Faculty Protest at Graduation and was written by Editor-in-Chief Lupita Gadius. The article states that faculty members whose classes were enlarged have complained that they have more students than they can handle and give undivided attention to. Dr. Astrap's response was, look at high school classrooms. How many students do they have? Nothing has been exceeded. Faculty overload their own classes. The remark that nothing has been exceeded is incorrect. Some years ago, the Academic Senate established a class size cap of 33 students for most classes in the social sciences and in some other departments as well. At that time, more of our students were better prepared for college-level work. Additionally, our college mission statement states, the college places a high priority on small classes. Since Dr. Astrap took the helm at NCC, the cap for most social science classes and several other disciplines was increased to 36 students. Some departments saw their classes increase by as many as 4 students. This means 15 to 20 more students per semester. Faculty members do not have, as indicated by Dr. Astrap's statement, the ability to sign students into their own classes. Only department chairpersons have this authority. In the event of an administrative error, students are signed in by an administrator. Thus, some of our classes have 37 or more students. Another problem with Dr. Astrap's response is that he seems to uphold the local high schools as an appropriate paradigm for education at NCC.
30 seconds.
These are the same high schools that are sending us large numbers of students who are not prepared for college-level work. Nearly 70% of our incoming students need one or more forms of remediation. In short, they need more individualized attention. Like all of us who are parents, I'm sure that Dr. Astrap cares deeply about the quality of education his own children are receiving. He has demonstrated this by opting, as is his prerogative, to send his own daughter to a high-quality private school rather than the local schools.
Time.
Okay, but he offers the local schools as models for NCC.
Time, please.
Okay.
Esther Bogan. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Don't time this yet. I do want to thank so many wonderful people for being supportive. Okay, and for me to be here tonight and pulling myself out, it's coming from the heart. I truly appreciate the partial restoration, and I had a yay speech and I had a nay speech, and so it's a partial yay. Mainly because this decision tonight appears to be quite bold, well considered, and as trustees, I am and truly believe that you now know and get what NCC is really about, and that here, shared governance is not just an empty shell of a term. I can say it's the heart and soul, you've heard it over and over again, of the culture of this college. And your decision demonstrates that you are getting it. And there are many good reasons to sustain our shared governance culture. You should already know that the governance leaders, the Senate Executive Committee, is already reviewing very carefully the submitted annual reports of the 26 standing Senate committees, as well as taking into account a variety of factors in planning the 2012 and 2013 year for academic Senate activities. I'd like to share some of the impressive work that was accomplished this past year. Academic Standing Committee and a withdrawal grade policy that affects students' academic standing and their financial aid. The Community Services Committee, marketing strategies to establish the NCC presence in our community. The Grants Committee and its efforts to increase chances of obtaining funding. The research of open educational resources and impact on distance learning and teaching by the Educational Resource Committee. And the many, many faculty and student development programs planned and facilitated by such committees as assessment, campus services, substance abuse, faculty development, international studies, and the list goes on and on. And the Senate Executive Committee assists and steers the planning of these charges, works hard in committee operations, works with all appropriate components of the college in completion of these charges. We're like the Duracell rabbit. We go on and on and on. Now, Dr. Astrap, when we first met, you questioned, how do you get so many faculty committed and involved? Well, that is meaningful shared governance, and that's how we get so many faculty committed and involved. Our culture brings together the efforts of faculty, administration, and students, the efforts of 26 standing committees, on average 20 members per committee, and a few ad hoc committees, and approximately 100 senators. That's a lot of committed individuals known as Nassau Community College. Trustees, your decision tonight demonstrates that you took all the documentation into account, carefully into account, and it shows that you are beginning to get what Nassau Community College is all about. My concern is the administration getting what Nassau Community College is all about? Thank you.
Neela Saxena.
Thank you very much, Chair and the Board of Trustees again for the bold movement. I am Neela Saxena from the English Department. I want to support our Academic Senate and the Executive Committee I have represented my department for many years as a senator and know firsthand how vitally important the officers of the Academic Senate are to the smooth workings of our SUNY middle state and contractually mandated shared governance system. But I'm also here as a member of my department's P&B and the chair of a departmental committee that organized a college-wide colloquium in April on liberal arts education and its relevance for community college students. During the colloquium, where faculty and students from every part of the campus took part, it was clear that NCC is one of those institutions where for a fraction of the cost elsewhere, young people from vastly diverse backgrounds get an opportunity to receive an education that has been the backbone of American democracy. I want to remind you that this is possible because, to quote our mission statement again, the college places a high priority on small classes taught by qualified, experienced faculty to provide an optimal educational environment, unquote. I would like to give you a few statements from my students who attended my English 311 class this last spring. Quote, I just wanted to take the time to tell you how much I enjoyed Masterworks of Literature and the method you used to introduce such celebrated text to our class. I will forever remember these pieces of literature. I feel that almost every piece we read allowed me to experience a new philosophical perspective, which at first felt so foreign, but eventually I embraced. As I venture off to Columbia University next semester, I feel grateful to have chosen Masterworks, which offered a blend of literature, philosophy, and history. As an English and literature major, I believe Masterworks of Literature was perfect preparation for the upper-level literature classes I will be taking at Columbia, unquote. Another student says, I thought this course was very fulfilling. I appreciated the opportunity of being able to read fundamental, historical, and global texts. It was interesting to travel through time by analyzing early texts from a literary and historical context. It enabled me to feel more culturally aware and knowledgeable from a global perspective. Third student who attended the colloquium says about liberal arts education.
30 seconds.
That one gets to see how other people think, psychology, understand court cases, criminal justice, child development, psychology, and to see hurt, anger, or happiness through one's emotion photography. And she says that it's a great thing for me to have this option to think outside the box, instead of having to choose what he or she wants to do right away, unquote. I urge that the board recognize the service full-time faculty offer to our students and community as a whole and strengthen the traditions of this college rather than weaken by supporting administration's myopic efforts to reduce everything to dollars and cents. Thank you.
Ed Boyden.
Thank you. I'm Ed Boyden. I'm in the History Department, and I'm Secretary of the Academic Senate. One of the reasons that the reassigned time matters, and I want to thank the board for listening to the representations that Dr. Reiser and I made last meeting and taking them seriously. One of the reasons that the reassigned time matters is it makes shared governance work. Shared governance is not just about our egos, although some people might think it's that. Shared governance is required, right? The State University of New York requires that the faculty, I'm quoting the community college regulations, faculty shall participate in the formulation of policy relating to student health and a lot of other things that I'm not going to repeat because I've only got 3 minutes. But it's not just the State University of New York, it's also Middle States. Middle State Standard number 4 involves leadership and governance, and it says, an accredited institution is required to have a well-defined system of collegial governance, including written policies. These are written policies, the Senate bylaws, outlining governance responsibilities of administration and faculty. Standard number 10 is about faculty. An accredited institution is required to have educational curricula designed, maintained, and updated by faculty and other professionals who are academically prepared and qualified. Standard number 11, which is about general education. An accredited institution is required to possess a general education program developed, owned, underline the word owned, and reviewed by the institution's faculty. Okay? Our accreditors and the state mandates that faculty play a dominant role in the academic governance of the college. Right? The reassigned time makes that possible. Okay? And shared governance matters for a very simple reason. I'm not going to walk into an operating room and tell a surgeon where to make the incision. I'm not going to go into the cockpit of an airplane and tell the pilot how to react to turbulence. I'm not going to go to a fire and tell the firefighters where to position their equipment and how to use it. Why? Because I'm not qualified to make those judgments. That's why we have shared governance. Shared governance is essential to ensure that decisions are made by people who are qualified to make them. But if we don't have that, right, we have decisions that may not be correct or logical or whatever because they're not being made by the people who know what they're doing. That's the practical function of shared governance in an academic institution. You have it to guarantee that the appropriately qualified people are making the decisions that make the institution function. If you don't have that, what you have is arbitrary and dictatorial power, which doesn't benefit everybody, anybody at all. Students, faculty, anybody. Thank you.
Steve Richmond.
I have only a very brief statement to make. First of all, thank you, Board, for the action of restoring most of the reassigned time. I honestly don't understand why the remaining 6 credits were not reassigned, but I don't believe that the Board's action tonight precludes President Daystrom and his administration from deciding to add that 6 credits back. I think he still has the power to do that in spite of what the Board has done tonight. And I would urge Dr. Daystrom to consider restoring those extra 6 credits as a show of good faith to the faculty.
Frank Facenda.
Hi, Frank Facenda, Vice President, NCCFT. I have a short statement to make, too. I had several statements, depending on how tonight went, and didn't go anywhere I thought it was going to go. So, first, once again, I want to thank you for the security. I feel safe. But what I do want to say is 6 contact hours, okay? That's $10,000. This reassigned time cannot possibly be about the money. All right, there is obviously another agenda, and we are not stupid. All right, we come here because we know what's going on this campus. Right, we are in the governance part of this campus. We serve on all the committees. We know the decisions that are being made on this campus. We see the writing on the wall. And you see us here every month in this room speaking to you and trying to educate you and inform you about what's going on. Now, I can't wrap my head around it to think that you really don't understand. You do understand. I think you just don't care. Or I think you have a different agenda and a different purpose supporting Dr. Astrib and his policies, which are going to just destroy this campus. Now, here we are on a hot summer night, and we're all here, and I think there was a little bit of premature applauding, okay, that took place when you first made the announcement, okay, because I think some people thought that the 48 hours was the full reassigned time, okay, and it wasn't. All right, so this is really, while I applaud you, kind of thinking that, well, at least you gave it some thought, okay, but I would hope that Dr. Astrib would reconsider, give the extra 6 contact hours to the Academic Senate as a show of good faith, because and if he doesn't, I promise you that in September, when we all come back, we're going to come back with new energy. And we'll all talk then. Have a nice summer.
But you will agree that we gave what was in effect last year. You had a recent cut, and we gave what you had last year. Okay.
Stephanie Sackey.
Based on the gentleman's earlier comments, Tony, we don't understand what we did.
Right. I don't think he meant that.
Well, that's what he said.
That's rhetoric.
That's what he said.
He's Italian. They got to talk like that.
Regardless of what ethnicity is.
Change it from Donnelly to Donnelly.
I apologize.
Good evening. Yesterday, the county legislature voted on the college's operating budget. I was there to read a statement approved by the NCCFT, and I share with you tonight the main points of that statement and some comments. The administration submitted a budget that called for no increase in spending, no increase in fees or tuition. It was a difficult budget, we realized, for the legislature to vote against, but we cautioned them against adopting it because of what we identified as, quote, short-sighted financial priorities, unquote, and unwise use of $1.5 million from the fund balance. Let me make this clear. We did not go to the legislature yesterday to support an increase in tuition, but to caution them against supporting a budget driven by a vision that we believe is harmful to our college's reputation. Why do we think this? Much of the savings comes from the anticipated retirement of 20 full-time faculty members, an action that will reduce the full-time faculty by 15% by spring 2013. By continuing to deplete the numbers of full-time faculty, this budget compromises our college's reputation and the quality of education students come to Nassau to receive. The legislature voted unanimously to support this budget. This vision of austerity education is apparently irresistible. Our appeals for them to consider what austerity education looks like fell on deaf ears. This includes students increasingly having difficulty registering for classes when they need them, less likely to have an instructor required to hold office hours, a lack of evening hours at support centers on campus, as well as fewer periodicals and books for the reserve reading room, in addition to the overcrowded classes that my colleague Paula Carlo spoke of. The same legislature, I might add, debated to the point of stalemate whether to continue funding county-funded youth summer services and the county's mental health hotline by borrowed funds. I urge everyone present tonight, members of the board, the administration, to reject this politics of austerity for what it is, a cruel dismembering of public services and workers. As we see public services defunded across the county and the country, it is easy to lose sight of the fact that education, like health and public safety, costs money. But cultivating the minds of students and the skills of workers cannot be done on the cheap. The legislature recognizes our accomplishments and our assets. It is time for them to fund us appropriately and for us to demand that they do so. Thank you.
Kathy Fagan.
Sorry about that. Good evening.
You have 1 minute left.
I'm Dr. Kathy Fagan of the English Department and the Writing Placement Coordinator for the college. Last week I had the honor and pleasure of living and studying at NYU through a Faculty Resource Network grant. The seminar I attended was New Orleans Jazz, a Metaphor for American Life. The convener's insights into the origins and development of jazz as the voice of our country apply to every aspect of life, and as I thought about the week, I realized that student writing is included in this metaphorical construct. Real New Orleans jazz is a combination of carefully established rules of melody and rhythm, continuously recreated through the magic of creative harmonies, intellectual and emotional responses translated into music. It includes spontaneity and social club parades as a second line of onlookers becomes and reflects the spirit of the music played by a brass band. It is embodied in the New Orleans Jazz Funeral that starts in dirge and ends in joyous improvisation. It is as far removed from Disney Dixie bands as the Olive Garden is from the fine food of Florence. Real jazz still exists, but its essence has been co-opted by the commercial interests that pose as the real thing, while eliminating the soul in the interest of capitalism. There is a reason why I'm talking to you about jazz. It is on my mind, and thinking people proceed that way. We all do, using what is foremost in our minds, grounding it in the knowledge acquired over the years, and creating new solutions the way jazz creates new music in an integrated system of the old. The problem at hand right now at Nassau Community College for me is Right Placer, a system of essay reading by computer put into place at Nassau in November 2011. Right Placer is to thoughtful college composition placement as Dixie is to jazz, or Chef Boyardee is to my Aunt Rose's ravioli. Right Placer gives students a prompt with no choice.
It forces them to write on WordPad, a woefully inadequate writing system devoid of any ability to format or revise. It stresses time limits and shuts off when the time is up. That sounds very familiar. It grades students instantaneously according to an algorithm through which the computer judges each essay according to 8 subjective levels of a meaningless rubric. Thus, formulaic writing, like that taught for the English Regents, is rewarded even if it is nonsensical, rote, using inappropriate examples. On the other hand, thoughtful, ironic, subtle, pithy writing is punished with low grades because it doesn't fit the mold created for this evaluative task. I have worked with Dean Hammer, the Placement Testing Center, and others on campus to minimize the negative effects of right placer on our applicants. We run faculty reading sessions to address the errors of developmental placement, and human readers have changed placement for 22% of the 2,840 student essays as of 6/8/12. Students who are moved up are eligible for our brush-up course, the right course, are notified. Some will argue that human readers make mistakes, and we moved about 22% of our students after placement then as well.
Thank you.
Is there anyone who would yield time to me? 2 minutes? Is there anyone?
I only used 1 minute of my time. I don't think they would allow that.
May I have Steve's 2 minutes, please?
Unfortunately. Thank you. Show of hands.
Just like right side this way.
It's a trouble, man. The troublemakers get extra credit in my class.
Sean Cohen, Psychology Department. I'd like to thank the board for their action. I just wonder if by not going the extra mile, you gave away for Dr. Astrad to save face. Restoring 6 hours is nothing in comparison. And when you say, by the way, but this is what it was last year, how about we have the faculty, I'm sorry, not the faculty, but the lawyers who got those obscene raises. I don't think go back to what it was last year. I saw this in Costco, the hidden world of secret societies. I thought maybe I could find something about the NCC Foundation in here. But in fact, they're so secret, they're not even in here. The point is, it is secret, and Dr. Astrad has sworn to that secrecy. You know, there is no need for secrecy policy unless it's a secret. What the heck is it? There's nothing in the past that needed this cloaking. What is it now? You know, we lost a member of our department about a year ago, Dr. Harold Siegel, who is gaining a national reputation on his understanding of what we call dissociative identity disorders. You would know it as multiple personality. He even arranged to have Chris Sizemore, who is the actual 3 Faces of Eve, come here to give a presentation to the college. We believe he deserves a scholarship. But I'll tell you, as a member of my department scholarship committee, I have polled a good number of members of my department, and the consensus is, in fact, the unanimity that we will not in any way recommend this scholarship because it is the foundation that's going to administer it and its funds, and since we have no idea of knowing, nor will be told anyway about how this is going to be administered, we will have no part of it until the transparency is restored and faith is restored. I have to say that you might ask, why should we not trust them? If they don't trust us or anybody else outside the foundation, why should we trust them? I believe the question is not, who do they think they are? I think the question is, who did they think we are? Thank you.
I want to once again congratulate Mary on her upcoming birthday tomorrow. To all the summer babies in the room, congratulations. Hope everyone has a wonderful birthday. If you do indeed have a birthday coming this summer, I hope everyone has a healthy and safe summer. I want to thank everyone for an exciting year. This past year. And with that, the next Finance and Capital Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 11th, 2012 at 7:30 a.m. And the next scheduled board meeting is Thursday, September 13th, 2012. The board will open the public session at 6:30 p.m. and resume the public session approximately at 8 p.m.
I call, excuse me, Chairman, I called to be put on the list. Is my name not on the list?
Yeah. It's not.
Okay.
Yes, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second. All those in favor?
Sorry.
Good
Again,
summer.
so moved. Thank you. Thank you.
Richard, have you got this?